I'm Raquella, the founder and formulator at Etymology, and today we are diving in to the complex and often confusing topic of pregnancy-safe skincare. First, a quick disclaimer. I'm a cosmetic chemist with a BSc in biochemistry and an MSc in food science. I am not a medical doctor, so please do not regard any of this as medical advice. I understand why pregnancy-safe skincare can be such a confusing topic for people. Different professionals often give conflicting recommendations, so it's so hard to know what information and who to trust. For example, you might hear a doctor say bakuchiol is a 100% pregnancy-safe retinol alternative. Or you might hear, oh, my friend's esthetician said all essential oils are toxic for use during pregnancy. That's why today I want to take a fact-based, not a fear-based approach to pregnancy-safe skincare. During pregnancy, your body undergoes hormonal changes which can wreak absolute havoc on your skin. You might notice symptoms like increased sensitivity, increased dryness and oiliness, an acne beard, really common along the jawline over here, hyperpigmentation, which can last years after your pregnancy and be really difficult to treat. While it's tempting to stick to your regular routine, some ingredients are best limited or avoided altogether during pregnancy. Let's break down some popular skincare ingredients and discuss their safety profiles. First, we're going to talk about retinoids, which are a clear no-go. Retinoids, which are vitamin A derivatives, are widely recognized as unsafe during pregnancy, and this includes retinol and all of its derivative compounds. Always check your ingredient list carefully because even products marketed as pregnancy safe on the box may in fact contain retinoids. Here's the list of common retinoids, which I will list here, that you can screenshot to reference against the back of your product box. Next, we're going to talk about bakuchiol, which is touted all over the internet as pregnancy safe. But let's examine the facts, shall we? There's a lack of comprehensive studies on bakuchiol safety during pregnancy. A review in the International Journal of Women's Dermatology actually noticed this gap. And the main reason for this is because to get comprehensive data on bakuchiol's safety profile, we would have to test on pregnant women, and that's obviously unethical. So unfortunately, we have to rely on indirect evidence. The British Journal of Dermatology showed that bakuchiol and retinol affect gene expression in similar ways. Just to clarify, gene expression is how our bodies turn genetic information into proteins that control how our bodies work. So if an ingredient changes gene expression, it could potentially influence important processes in the body. This is why the similarity between retinol and bakuchiol's method of action raises questions about its safety during pregnancy. It's also really important to acknowledge conflict of interest. You can find hundreds, maybe thousands of doctors on the internet, I'm thinking specifically of TikTok, that say bakuchiol is retinol's pregnancy-safe alternative. However, these doctors are being compensated by the companies selling bakuchiol-based products, so they're not exactly giving an unbiased opinion. So please ask your doctor for specific advice about what is safe for you in your pregnancy. If you're looking for anti-aging benefits during pregnancy, try gentler and very safe alternatives in the form of vitamin C derivatives and peptides. Next, we're going to talk about alpha hydroxy acids, or AHAs. AHAs are popular exfoliants and are generally considered safe during pregnancy at concentrations below 10%. So avoid high-strength in-office chemical peels unless your doctor advises otherwise. The three most common AHAs are 1. Glycolic acid. It is an amazing exfoliant that promotes collagen production, but it can be very sensitizing because it's small molecular size. 2. Lactic acid. A little bit more gentle than glycolic, however, there's less collagen boosting activity, but it also has hydrating properties for the skin, so that's an added bonus. 3. Mandelic acid. Now, this is my favorite AHA for use in pregnancy and overall. It has the largest molecular weight of any AHA. It can help fight acne and pigmentation because it has both water and oil-soluble properties, and it's quite gentle. Remember, please always use a sunscreen when using alpha hydroxy acids, as they do sensitize the skin a little bit to the sun. Next, we're going to be talking about the beta hydroxy acid, salicylic acid. Salicylic acid, the most common beta hydroxy acid, requires a little bit more caution. The American College of OBGYN states that salicylic acid, when used at 2% or lower, is safe for use in pregnancy due to minimal systemic absorption. Some women choose to avoid salicylic acid entirely during their pregnancy, but this is just a personal choice. If you still want to use salicylic acid to keep those pesky acne breakouts at bay, but you want to err on the side of caution during pregnancy, I would suggest sticking to wash-off products and spot treatments and using them just a few times a week, not every single day, and you should be absolutely fine. Just make sure you're sticking under 2%. Next, we're going to talk about sunscreens and UV filters. There's a myth out there that mineral sunscreens are inherently safer than chemical sunscreens during pregnancy. This is categorically false. chemical and mineral sunscreens are completely safe to use. They've been tested by authorities like Health Canada and the FDA, and the best sunscreen out there for you is the one you enjoy using and will reapply and wear daily. So just make sure you're choosing a broad spectrum sunscreen with a minimum SPF 30, and the only case where mineral may be preferable to a chemical sunscreen if you're like me and have very sensitive skin and or rosacea. If not, and you enjoy using chemical sunscreens, go right ahead, they're great to use. The most important thing is to actually remember to wear sunscreen and reapply every 2 hours. Just make it a part of your daily routine. I personally apply sunscreen about 3 times a day, in the morning, after lunch, and at 3 p.m. But do as I say and not as I do. Finally, we're going to talk about preservatives. There's a lot of fear around preservatives and a big trend on preservative-free skincare. However, preservatives are absolutely essential for making safe cosmetics and have been approved and safety tested by Health Canada and the FDA. Unless you have a known allergy, preservatives in skincare are really not something you need to be worrying about. In fact, using products without preservatives is way riskier. They keep your creams, serums, and cleansers free from harmful bacteria and mold. Using products without preservatives can actually lead to an increase in contamination and negative reactions on the skin. Your moisturizer could turn into a petri dish filled with bacteria. Not so great. So say yes to preservatives and no to bacterial and mold growth in your cosmetics. So to conclude, skincare during pregnancy does require extra care, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming or scary. You definitely don't need to throw out all your current products and spend a ton of money on products specifically marketed as pregnancy safe. You can probably keep most of your routine as is. So avoid retinoids, high concentration AHAs and BHAs, potentially avoid bakuchiol, and always wear a broad spectrum sunscreen with at least SPF 30. And please, please, please check in with your doctor if you have any specific questions or concerns. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this informative, and here's to making healthy choices for you and your baby.